You are different. You always have been. Even if you tried to fit in, even if you silenced your intuition to please others, deep down, you always knew. There is something in you that is not common. And it's not meant to be. Your presence changes the environment. Your energy is felt even before you say any words. People you have never seen easily open up with you, share secrets, ask for advice. This is not a coincidence. It is spiritual. It is a reflection of the light you carry, even when you don't realize it. You feel the world more deeply. You cry easily, get emotional about what many ignore. Your intuition guides you firmly, even when logic doesn't explain. And even without understanding everything, you keep moving forward, because something inside you knows there is a greater purpose. You do not belong to what is superficial. You do not fit into empty groups, and this is not a flaw. It is a sign. The chosen are not common. They are prepared in silence, often through pain, almost always through solitude. But it is on this path that the soul awakens, and the mission begins to reveal itself. If you have lived all this, know you are a chosen one. Not because you are better than others, but because you have been called to something beyond. And what seemed strange until now was actually sacred all along. Today, I want to talk about deep, and sometimes even strange, signs that confirm this truth about you. And I state clearly, if these signs repeat in your life, you carry a unique spiritual mission in this world. And it's time to truly understand this. And before we begin, I want to ask you something. Follow this channel, not because every YouTube video ends this way, but because here you will find answers that the world outside does not give you. Here, you will remember who you are, and you will discover why you have never been like the others. There are people who barely know you, yet share deep secrets, as if they have known you for years. It's as if your presence opens an invisible door where the other person feels safe to unload. You don't force anything. You don't ask invasive questions. You don't promise miraculous answers. Just being near you seems to be enough for the other person to relax. It's as if there is something silent in your energy that says, "You can speak, it's okay." And in fact it is, because you convey peace. Not that artificial peace, but a true calm that comes from within. People seek you out in times of confusion. Some just want to talk. Others don't even know what they need, but feel they should get closer. This happens often, and you have already noticed. It can be in the grocery line, on public transport, or in a casual conversation. The pattern is the same. Someone approaches, talks more than they would to anyone else, and leaves relieved, as if they had lifted a weight off their chest. This is not common, and if it happens to you, it is because there is a presence that accompanies you, a light that does not shout, but that everyone sees even without understanding why. Your soul has an energy field that welcomes, and those who are hurt or lost feel this, even if they can't explain it. It's not charisma, it's not friendliness, it's something else. It's spiritual. Have you ever felt that you attract people who need help? That in some way they see in you something that even you didn't know you were showing. That is a gift. It doesn't mean you have to carry the world's problems, but it means you are a channel, a silent support point that the universe uses to comfort those in need. And the most curious thing? Even when you are silent, your presence speaks. There is something in you that communicates trust effortlessly. This is not learned. It is not taught. It manifests itself. Many who approach you may not even understand why. They just feel an impulse. They feel that being close to you makes it easier to breathe. And after they leave, something inside them changes. You may have noticed that this happens in different contexts, and sometimes you even ask yourself, why did this person tell me this? The answer is simple: because you are a chosen one. Chosen ones have this rare ability to carry comfort in their gaze, to have empathy even before the story begins, to listen with the soul and not just with the ears. You might find this natural. But what feels natural to you is extraordinary to others. They can't explain it. They just feel it. And because of that, they trust. This type of energy cannot be manufactured. It cannot be forced. It is the reflection of who you are inside. And those who have sensitivity, even unconsciously, perceive it. Your role in this world may not be to give all the answers, but it is indeed to be a point of light where there is darkness, a refuge where there is chaos, an open heart where many find only closed doors. If people spontaneously seek you out, open up to you, and leave feeling lighter, this is not coincidence. It is a sign. And signs do not lie. You carry something rare, and the world feels it. You feel. Before something happens, your body warns you. Your chest tightens. Your thoughts change. Something inside you guides you without needing to use words. And when you listen to that silent voice, everything starts to make sense. Chosen ones have this inner compass that points to what is right, even when everything around seems confusing. It's not fear. It's not distrust. It's spiritual perception. How many times have you avoided a place, canceled something, changed your path without exactly knowing why, and then realized it was the best decision? This is not luck. It is discernment. Your soul is in tune with something greater. You don't need to understand all the details to feel that something is not right, or that, on the contrary, something is completely aligned, even if it seems unlikely. While many try to rationalize everything, you have already felt. You have already understood. You have already distanced yourself or approached at the right moment. And this protects you, guides you, prepares you. Your intuition works like a spiritual radar. It picks up signals that are not visible to the eyes, but are clear to those who have sensitivity. And you do. You may even doubt from time to time, think you are exaggerating, but deep down you know. When you listen to this inner voice, things flow better. When you ignore it, something gets lost. This sensitivity is not common. And you know this because you have already tried to explain it to someone, but couldn't find words that made sense. Because it is not something to be explained. It is to be felt. Chosen ones live on another frequency. While the world races after answers, you already carry within you a direct connection to what is true. You see signs where others see coincidence. You sense presences, energies, intentions. It's not about predicting the future. It's about feeling the present with such depth that you know what is to come. Your soul picks up what the eyes do not see. And the most impressive part, the more you respect this intuition, the stronger it becomes. It's as if the universe recognizes that you are listening, and then entrusts you with even more signals. Many people live disconnected from themselves, but you do not. You listen to what many ignore. You feel what many forget to feel. And this makes you someone rare. This connection to your soul is part of your mission. It is not a coincidence that you came with this kind of sensitivity. It is a tool. It is a compass. It is protection. So trust, even if you don't understand everything, even if it seems strange, if your heart warns you, listen. If something vibrates differently, respect it. Your intuition is the direct channel between you and that which chose you. Have you noticed how children and animals seem to sense your presence even before you say anything? They look, approach, observe you calmly, and often, without explanation, form an immediate bond with you. This doesn't happen with everyone. It takes having a clean, true energy to awaken this reaction. Children, especially very young ones, do not pretend. They do not smile out of politeness, nor do they approach out of convenience. They feel. And what they feel in you is trust. It is safety. It is truth. Animals do the same thing. A dog that has never seen you approaches with its tail wagging. A cat looks at you with those deep eyes and stays close, silently but present. It's as if they recognize something in you that the adult world has unlearned to see. They do not know your name, your story, your pains, but they recognize your soul, and that is enough. The gaze of a child fixates on you, without fear, the tranquility of an animal lying at your feet. These simple gestures reveal a great truth. Your presence brings peace, and peace is one of the purest languages of spirituality. The chosen carry this peace, even if they are not always at peace inside. Because what flows from you comes from something greater. Perhaps you have never realized how many times this has happened. But if you observe carefully, you will remember moments when a child looked at you as if they had known you forever, or an animal approached as if it chose you. This is energy sensitivity, and it only manifests when there is something special flowing from the inside out. It cannot be faked, it cannot be forced, it just happens. These beings, the children and the animals, have not been contaminated by the filters of the world. They do not judge appearance, status, or pretty words. They feel what is truly there. And what they feel in you is familiar. It's as if they were saying, I recognize you. I trust you. This recognition is spiritual. It is soul speaking to soul. You may not even realize how rare this is, but it is. And if it happens frequently, it's because your presence carries something beyond logic. Something that touches others at deep levels. Being seen by a child with curious and trusting eyes is a gift. Being chosen by an animal to receive affection or attention is a sign. These are silent manifestations of what you emanate without knowing. You might think that this happens to everyone, but it doesn't. Most people go unnoticed by these little beings. You, however, do not. You attract. This doesn't mean you need to care for everyone, but it does mean that your vibration is in harmony with something pure, something true. And this harmony is the spiritual signature of the chosen. In a world full of masks, being recognized by those who still live without masks is a privilege, and also a confirmation that your essence is clean. It is welcoming. It is rare. So next time a child stares at you in silence, or an animal rests by your side for no apparent reason, smile inside. You just received another reminder of who you are. You don't need to explain your energy. It is felt. And these little messengers, with bright eyes and pure hearts, are here to remind you of that. You open your eyes and the clock seems to tell the same story. 3 a.m., sometimes 3:15, other times 3:33. Always there, in that interval when everything is silent, but something inside you awakens as if being called. It's not just insomnia. It's not anxiety. It's subtler than that, and much deeper too. There is a moment in the early morning when the world slows down. Distractions cease. External voices fall silent. It's as if the universe chooses this time to whisper truths you wouldn't hear during the chaos of the day. If this has been happening frequently, know this. It is not a coincidence. It is a spiritual code. It's as if your soul is being gently nudged, as if to say, hey, get up. I have something to show you. Many call this interval the spiritual hour. Others say it's when the veil between worlds becomes thinner. Few truly understand, but the chosen, they feel. This call does not come with an alarm. It does not come with noise. It comes with a silent restlessness, a desire to get up, look out the window, breathe deeper, reflect, as if the universe is waiting for you to pay attention. And when you accept this invitation, something happens. Ideas come. Intuitions reveal themselves. Old emotions surface. And amid all this, answers arise without anyone having asked anything. If you have been awakened at this hour, do not fight it. Embrace it. Do not pick up your phone. Do not try to distract yourself. Just stay there, present. There is something being delivered to you, something that can only be understood in the silence of the early morning. Perhaps you feel the urge to pray, to write, to cry, to give thanks, to listen to soft music, or just remain peaceful in the dark. All of this is part of the process. It is in this interval between night and day that many spiritual revelations occur. Because it is when your mind is most open and your soul most available. Some sleep through it all and hear nothing. But you wake up. Because you were chosen to receive, perceive, translate. And do you know what is most beautiful? Often, you do not even understand at the moment what is being shown. But days later, weeks perhaps, the pieces fit together, as if everything had begun in that silent dawn. This moment is like a portal, a space-time where spirituality finds room to reach you without interruptions. Embrace it, respect it, and above all, trust. Do not blame yourself for waking up. Do not think there is something wrong. On the contrary, there is something very right happening. Your soul is awake, even while the world sleeps. If your sleep has been interrupted, perhaps it was necessary. Sometimes, the greatest transformations do not happen when we are doing a lot, but when we stop, when we listen, when we simply are. Waking at this hour is like being called by a divine whisper. And if this call is repeated, it's because your connection is active. You are being prepared for something greater. While the city rests, your spirit works. While others sleep peacefully, you are awakened with purpose. You are not alone in this awakening. Many other chosen ones are also hearing the same call. And they are, like you, learning to transform the early morning into a meeting with the invisible. You feel the world as if you had no skin, as if the emotions around you pass through you without asking for permission. You cry over little things that others ignore. You get emotional over simple gestures. You feel pains that aren't even yours, but that your heart insists on carrying. This intensity that you live is not weakness. It is spiritual sensitivity, and it was not given by chance. There are those who live shielded, who go through life unaffected, uninvolved. But that was never your path. You came with the gift of feeling, and more than that, of transforming what you feel. Being this way may seem exhausting, and sometimes it is, because you cannot turn it off. You cannot choose what to feel and when. Everything passes through you with strength, truth, depth. But it is this same sensitivity that makes you a healer. Someone who, by feeling, understands, and by understanding brings light to places that were once in shadow. You hear more than words. You perceive what is between the lines. You recognize hidden pains behind smiles. You capture anguishes that weren't even expressed. And when this happens, something in you awakens the desire to embrace. Your empathy is almost supernatural. It's as if your soul stretches out its arms before the body even moves. You are already present before being called. And although this can sometimes hurt, this is one of the greatest strengths of a chosen one, the ability to feel deeply without losing themselves. You are like an antenna that picks up invisible vibrations, an emotional radar that detects the truth behind appearances, a heart that feels before the mind tries to understand. This makes you a channel, an instrument, Someone that the universe can use to touch other lives. Not with grand speeches, but with simple gestures, with true presence, with love that doesn't need to be explained. Perhaps you have felt strange for being this way. Perhaps you have asked yourself, why do I feel so much? The answer is simple. Because the world needs people who feel. People who care. People who transform pain into a path and tears into healing. You are here for that. To perceive what others do not see. To love deeply. To connect with another's pain without losing your own truth. But be careful. Being sensitive does not mean carrying everything alone. Being empathetic does not require you to nullify yourself. Your mission is not to absorb the world's suffering, but to recognize it and help to illuminate it with what you carry inside. Use this sensitivity as a compass. It shows you what needs to be healed, in yourself and in others. And where there is pain, there is also an opportunity for growth, for surrender, for true connection. Sensitivity is a rare gift. Do not hide for feeling too much. Do not diminish yourself for getting emotional over what seems small. In a world that has gotten used to ignoring what matters, you feel. And that is already a miracle. Chosen ones feel differently. They suffer differently. They love differently. And that is precisely why they are called. Because they carry in their hearts a flame that warms even in silence. You are one of those. And the world needs what you feel, the way you feel. From a very young age, you noticed that you were different. While other children easily fit in, you felt that there was something about you that didn't match the world around you. It's not that you didn't want to connect. On the contrary, you tried. But there was always that silent feeling of being in a place that wasn't exactly yours. At school, in conversations, in groups, everything felt a bit out of rhythm. You thought differently. You felt deeper. You questioned what no one else questioned. And because of that, you were often called strange, too sensitive, disconnected, or even complicated. But none of this was a flaw. It was a sign. A sign that your soul carries something rare, and the world around you simply wasn't ready to understand it yet. You weren't born to blend in. You were not made to fit into molds. Your essence is free, and your purpose requires space to grow, even if that means walking alone at many times. This feeling of not belonging is common among the chosen, because while many live to adapt, you feel that you need to find yourself. And this call does not come from outside. It comes from within. It's as if there is a place waiting for you, but that is still being revealed. A space where your way of being will finally make sense, where what is today considered strange will become your greatest strength. The truth is that the out-of-place feeling hurts, but it also guides. It pushes you inward. It forces you to listen to your intuition. It prepares you for a mission that is not common, and for that reason, it will not be understood by everyone. And that's okay. You didn't come to please. You came to illuminate. And too much light in dark environments can be uncomfortable. If you feel that you don't belong, breathe. You are not lost. You are being guided. Every step outside the norm brings you closer to your true place, that place where your soul will expand. Do not dim yourself to fit in. Keep going. Even if it seems lonely now, your journey is sacred. And little by little, you will find others like you. Others who also carry the glow of those who came to awaken. Have you ever found yourself distanced from everything, not really understanding why? People have been leaving your life. Invitations have diminished. Connections have unraveled. And suddenly, silence took over. It may have hurt. You may have thought you were doing something wrong, but you weren't. You were being separated, prepared, taken care of. The isolation you experienced, or are still experiencing, is not punishment. It is refining. It is the moment when the universe removes you from the noise, so you can finally hear what truly matters. There are things that can only be revealed in silence. There are forces that only arise when everything outside becomes quiet. And you, being a chosen one, need these intervals to remember who you are. This distancing happens subtly. Sometimes you just lose interest in certain places. At times, you feel an emptiness that you cannot explain. Other times, it seems like everyone has forgotten you. But in reality, it is the spiritual world pulling you inward. You are not alone. There are many others like you, awakening to their true mission. If this video touched you, like, comment, and share. Let's together spread this message of awareness, truth, and awakening. Until the next video. And remember, strange to the world, sacred to the heavens.